Yeah, absolutely. I think you had two really good candidates as opposed to the secret game that we were casting where it was like
no one really
they just
wanted
kept on getting more Aghanim Scepters and most of them were pretty bad, but Immersion, you can see his Nyx Assassin 1% over the average it seems, and we're going to be seeing first time Afterlife playing Leshrac for this patch. So both teams kind of adopting something that was taken by their opponents in game one. And Liquid actually getting 3 of them. 3 bounties to start here, and maybe a kill as well. No, GH does have either shot because he doesn't want to totally ruin his laning phase, but they just get a lot of harassment on the Afterlife here.
They only got 3, right? So did one get denied?
Did Mind Control deny one with his treants?
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
Your king thanks you.
Ooh, that's rough. So already, Team Liquid yet to hit a single creep and up by 600 gold. How's this matchup go? The Lone Druid versus OD, it's good for the Lone Druid, right?
Yeah, because Astral doesn't matter that much for you.
I remember you always telling me that like when it comes to OD, it's like about whether or not you can get CS around the imprisonment. Whether it's just like nuking down waves or in this instance having two different opportunities to get the last hit. And then we've got just a solo Mind Control right now in the top lane where bottom, Gambit Immersion is actually pulling with the Nyx Assassin right now. Similar to what we saw last game. It is just trying to set it up so the creep wave is going to push into this Leshrac. Because otherwise they're just going to get zoned out by a tri-lane.
I could see him, yeah. He's just going to TP out here.
And really, what can you do as Team Liquid to stop that? There isn't much. Just try and do as much harassment damage as possible, but Nyx Assassin just TP back to the fountain, and he'll be here by the time the creep wave shows up. So they can just play pretty patient.
Still, laning phase is not bad at all for Liquid, as Mind Control can actually walk up in CS, because FNG doesn't really deal the best with treants quite yet.
No. Will be a little bit better maybe when he has level 3 and has higher levels of dual breath and liquid fire to slow down the
Honestly,
attacks.
It's kind of okay for both teams because their top lane's going well, but Liquid have to commit the tri-lane and they're not getting any sort of kills. And the reason they're doing this is because I think the Morphling would be very susceptible to death at this point.
Yeah. This is definitely a great kill combo.
The worst thing about playing Morphling is when you have to morph back up to strength because it takes you so long to switch back and forth at level 1. As a very nice side pull here.
Yeah, look at this. Miracle's just really focusing on the denies. They do not want to let Gambit get to level 2 or level 3 off this big creep wave. They know it's going to push forward anyway, but if they can deny as many of these creeps, especially since the range creeps got attacked by the next wave coming in.
Yeah, they got most of these because of the range creeps dying like that.
Yeah.
This is not going to give them nearly as much as they thought it was.
They do have the shackles as well here. Immersion's going to be in a bit of trouble if Miracle can finish him off, but Adaptive Strike isn't quite good enough, and Kuro does not have level 2 for the nuke of Purifying Flames.
Yeah, part of the problem with him having to stop that wave stack is Mango's going to get popped by Immersion. Thought about it for a second, but
just going to keep faking it, I guess. But now the creep wave is in a position that they're happy with. If it just keeps on sitting right outside their tower, then they can no longer be zoned out by these troubling supports. But of course, GH isn't going to let that happen. He's going to try and pull the creep wave back off the easy camp and then pull it into the hard camp immediately afterwards. So now Gambit have to solve this problem once again.
And Miracle's doing a very good job just denying nonstop and making it so that this dual lane, even if they're getting some creeps in their face, he's got 11 denies. Really hurting him in that regard.
Yeah, we see a lot of denies coming out from Lone Druid as well in that mid lane. At 10 denies already. Wraith King trying to copy that idea, but honestly, that hero just isn't as good as somebody like the Morphling.
I'd imagine that the Nature's Prophet is still getting levels too.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure Mind Control's having a pretty good game here. Even if he dies, right? Like, even if they do manage to catch him out, he's just going to show up to lane again and continue to farm.
And the lane's pulling back to him, and he's almost level 4. Plus, he almost has boots. I think his laning phase has gone exceedingly well, considering he is 2-on-1.
Seems like the nerf to the treants. I mean, it really just, like, you can nerf the damage and and stuff, but at the end of the day, it's still, you can out-trade any solo support. Nobody can really fight you like that. TP's into the mid lane. They're trying to go for the kill onto the OD. FNG trying to slow down with the dual breath, but there's too many heroes here as Mind Control TP'd in and Kuro made his way across. This is the danger. A laning phase that goes this well. You're going to see Furion moving around the map and showing himself.
What Liquid's going to try to do this game is just go 4-man. They have so many different ways to non-commit push towers.
Yeah.
They're going to force you to come in. When you get there, Miracle will be farming on one side of the map. You try to deal with the push, all of a sudden, they've left. They've just left the treants behind, and they won't really give you that straight-up 5v5 that you were looking for like they got in last game.
Right. And we saw how quickly, like, if you have to move around the map nonstop, we saw Liquid just straight up give up their mid tower because they felt like they couldn't stop the lone druid from taking it.
Yeah, and they sort of have a similar problem again, like they did in last game, Gambit. Obviously, it didn't end up mattering because their mid game was so strong. As Afo gonna get gone on here, getting pretty low right now.
They have another Purifying Flames to finish him off. They need vision. They're gonna spot him and get the Ether Shock out from GH immediately. They don't even think about looking at going to the other support. They just want the tower.
Yeah, I felt like, I talked to you about this after the game. I said it was such a big mistake for Liquid to just give up their mid tower for free. This time around, they're gonna reverse things a little bit. And this is the best part about the Lone Druid and why I liked him when you asked me about him post-draft. Because I feel like it just allows you to take this mid-tier 1 tower, it opens up the rest of your support game, and it just makes it easier for your safe lane to play Dota 2.
Now, Gambit is not without their own really crazy tower taker. They do have this Wraith King, where if you actually are allowed to get full skeleton stacks and you just give them some free Hawk, Hawk did get a lot of damage onto that offlane tower.
Yeah.
Not quite enough to finish it, but pretty much evened out the damage that Liquid did at mid.
There's a downside to what Liquid's doing as well. They're sacrificing a lot of support levels right now as GH going to go behind the tower.
Do you think this is specifically because of the tome patch? Do you think you can really sack your levels this much on supports unless you have the double tome available?
This is a bit intense,
Yeah.
but I think if you have a game plan after this mid tower, then it's fine.
And what is that mid that play going to be? Matamba Man, we've seen in the past where he rotates very heavily with his lone druid.
I think you take the bottom tower. I don't know if the Wraith King is really the hero that you can easily get aggressive on. I think you want to connect to this Morphling and make his life easier.
Yeah.
Like everything to make Miracle's job a little bit better. Because I think that Liquid, they win games when you give Miracle the win condition. When you make sure that he has the absolute best hero when it comes to the ultra late game, that's when you see Liquid really start to calm down. And it feels like they don't have to force fights as a result. And I think that's huge for them, as that is indeed the play. They're going to make their way down to bottom lane.
Yep.
And this is one of the best things that the Lone Druid does for you, is he can assail this enemy offlane tower, which we were having a long discussion about after the game too, and why I thought it was so important. Getting to this tower as the game progresses becomes so difficult. It's on the opposite side of the map. You can't get ward vision. Oftentimes you lose your safe lane tower. And more importantly, I think in the late game, like post 30 minutes, it resets the glyph at a really inopportune time.
I mean, we've seen, how many games have you seen where it's like, they've got 2 lanes of barracks, but there's still a tier 1 alive. And that tier 1 is always the offlane tower. Every single time. The Ice Path is going to go out here from FNG. Afterlife's going to be caught in the back lines. It's in the level 3 left track. This game is just being ruined right now. Great body blocking there from Mind Control to ensure a root out from the Matamba Men Bear. They're going to go from an offlane tier 1 to now a tier 2. And Gambit, I mean, they look at their heroes and like, we just don't have what it takes to stop this. There is the change though. We have the Glyph multi-shot, but you can see the Bear just doesn't care.
Part of it about last game was they had multiple ways to take fights like this. They had the Queen of Pain mid, they had the Sand King offlane. This time around, they've got the Leshrac offlane, who, let me tell you, without items feels very bad. And most importantly, OD just doesn't do the same things.
Yeah.
Plus, you know that to Hawk, and it really feels like he likes his Radiance timers, but it also means that the overall pace of the game is just slow.
Good read by Appo, but it's not good enough. The root is going to be there just in time from Kuro. So he turns around knowing that he's dead. He wants to get a kill out of it, but he couldn't actually catch up to that Oracle. And now will die to the wrath of nature
they might
from
even
Mind
Roche.
Control. I would be pretty crazy if they roached already.
Oh, no, they're going to go for top. It makes the most sense to go for top.
Yeah.
Who drew the line?
That would be Mind Control.
Okay.
He wants to head out to top lane. So
I saw
Matamba
him.
Man's going to push in mid and then cut up there, right?
Yeah, you connect to the rest of your team. And just let this happen. Let Miracle just play by himself.
Just actively taking areas of the map away from Gambit with that tier 2 off lane gone and the tier 1 mid. The triangle is pretty well opened up, so he can just stop that part. You said they're gonna just sit Miracle on one side of the map and the rest of the team's gonna be the other, and that's exactly what's happening right now as the 10-minute bounty runes are coming up. Miracle's already controlled this part of the map enough that he feels like he can get both. Liquid are gonna ensure that both the top are gonna go their way. That's 4.
You know what I noticed about this adjustment too, like in terms of draft, is I think Liquid realizes that Gambit picks 2 supports that are better in the mid game.
Oh, look at that surround. A classic Sprout into tree and spawn total surround on the Nyx Assassin.
I think they picked pretty bad, like, ganking heroes for the last 2 games. I mean, I think I saw 2 of their games, 2 versus Secret, or EG, where they just couldn't really rotate.
Yeah.
And so your mid game is going to hit real hard. But this laning phase, I feel like, is very abusable. You essentially have 3 cores that need farm. Your Wraith King with Midas is not very scary. Whereas Miracle's timing is just going to come really quickly.
And with the tome changes, it's 11 minutes in, and they've got 1 level 6 support and another one who's level 5.5. So we talked about how their levels are going to be sacked a bit, but the combination of the double tomes as well as, you know, they got a couple of kills as well that I'm sure
And they're
helped.
getting high priority kills.
Yeah.
Like, they killed mid twice. Doesn't feel bad whatsoever.
And when you've got this much map control, Miracle is going to be playing in jungle a lot. Mind Control can do the same. That opens up certain lanes like mid, where Kuro can just kind of hang out, get free CS. 9,000 net worth lead already as we're getting a shutout right now. It's 7-0. It was a tough back and forth game that Gambit managed to pull the victory out there, but this is looking like it's going to be all Liquid.
I mean, I think part of it is that they sort of forgot what won them that game. It was the ability to just, like, fight nonstop.
Yeah.
They didn't overgreed it, which I think is kind of the key against Liquid, because Liquid, when they're at their best, I feel like they're securing the late game with some sort of pick for Miracle, whether it's Morphling, Anti-Mage, some sort of hero that just scales really well into the late game.
Kuro being chased down by the OD, but at the same time, Immersion's going to be found, scared away. But Tumbaman going to body block him here and allow his bear to be able to get a little bit closer as well, to be able to get the root. That will probably ensure that Immersion does die here.
Now they're going to go for the Roche. Yep.
Now they've got Roche with the Serpent Wards up. And there's just nothing Gambit can seemingly do. I mean, their cores were too greedy. We heard T-Governor talk about it. He liked Liquid because he said they've got a way to punish the greed from Gambit. You've got a Leshrac, an OD, and a Wraith King that all need farm, that all need levels. Gambit trying to get inside the pit right now with a macro pyre. They're going to throw it out here, but between the bear and the wards, they're just slowly going to take the Roshan without taking any hero damage here. Miracle is going to position himself to pick up the Aegis. So Blitz, I mean, we're seeing a totally one-sided game here. So when is it going to happen? When does Gambit's lineup come online and we can see them actually rotating to defend towers and fight Team Liquid head-on?
Like 15 minutes from now.
They're just that far behind.
It's more like they need to hit their timings.
Yeah.
Like, the downside of Wraith King is, like, the upside of Wraith King is he's a safe lane hero that you don't want to mess with. He's not easy to gank because you know that it's most likely going to take twice. So when you go to a safe lane tower, if you can gank him under the tower and you get the first life. Oh,
he didn't go for the vendetta. Oh no, Immersion, no! You had it, buddy.
That's a free kill now.
You had it.
That was pretty massive, actually, because that's 4 minutes on the Aegis.
That was a level 6 Nyx Assassin that would have killed a level 10 Morphling solo and taken away the Aegis. I guess he wouldn't have gotten experience, but still, taking away that Aegis would have slowed down Liquid a lot.
That is so unfortunate. I think he went for the hit, but then queued up the stun too quick.
Yeah.
Because he had to have known that the stun alone wouldn't have killed. He had 260 HP. Plus, as soon as the stun connects, you know that Miracle's like on the case. It's like, I've been hit.
Nice map.
Oh, they're just going for it right now.
Yeah, they really are. between the Bear and the Serpent Wards. Once again, very low committal, but high damage on this tier 3. Stunning the Bear, they need to finish off this Bear. Much like Liquid tried to do, GH actually from long range gets the shackles, just gets a bit of harassment damage to Gambit. See if they can bring down one of these heroes low enough. They got him, Immersion. Drifts a little bit too low, but summon the new Bear here to finish up this tier 3.
Fire.
Biting him down, managed to get the Ice Path. They're going to try and finish off the Wraith King while going for the last strike at the same time here. Afterlife's dead. There goes the reincarnation of the Wraith King. And nobody from Gambit is really behind him. They're going to buy back for the last strike and finally TP in Apo. But again, in OD at a level 11, 15 minutes in, it's not really a powerhouse hero. And Liquid are not that scared of this buyback and these rotations. But now they've lost their second Bear, it's probably time to retreat. There goes all your building damage.
Yeah, now they're going to reset here as Matama Man goes to
It's
the
Matama Man, no! Immersion, too slow with the Impale.
He's going to get nobody now for that.
He's got nothing.
And the casual Kaya is now complete for the OD, but again, timing has moved up so rapidly.
There's only ever been 6 shutouts on LAN, most recently the EG shutting out Liquid. I always remember the most famous shutout for me was ESL One Frankfurt. Remember Toby and Sin were casting because
was it
the 22-0
IG?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I think it was IG versus EG. What a crazy way. I think that was the end of the series too, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe it was. As you could see, Apo's just had a rough go of it. Only been hitting creeps nonstop because he knows his hero just can't really fight yet. They've got to just bite the bullet, lose all their towers, and hope
so
that Liquid
far.
makes some sort of mistake pushing high ground.
Yeah, he's so far behind in net worth, though.
Yeah.
Somebody who isn't, though, is this Wraith King, who just about has that Radiance. I think once you have Radiance, you just smoke and take a fight.
Yeah, you got to. Unfortunately, Dahak can't play hyper-aggressive right now because that was the level 1 reincarnation when it went down, so that very long cooldown is still there for another 90 seconds, so he can't really actually farm creeps in lane.
You can tell he's very afraid to pop out, and rightfully so.
If his Radiance gets slowed down any further, then Liquid, I mean, every single minute that passed by, they've just had a field day with Gambit.
And the best part about having Radiance, though, is it speeds up everything. It allows you to finally be a presence in team fights. It allows you to farm much quicker. But having Radiance alone is never that scary.
They're going to find Immersion here once again. I always feel like when I'm playing Wraith King, when I have the Radiance, it's like almost exponential because I'm farming creeps faster. That also means I'm farming up skeletons faster.
Yes.
Which means I'm popping out skeletons to farm creeps even faster.
It's a very snowball effect.
Yeah.
So we see Mind Control this time on the Nature's Prophet. Looks so much better than when he was on the Omni. Because I feel like his job was so limited when he's on the Omni. He's a playmaker at the end of the day. He's one of those guys that I think really likes having net worth items, being able to do essentially what Afterlife did.
And that was why when they won, right, the TI was Matamba Man had to play very sacrificial in that regard for both his 2 and 3 position. Miracle and Mind Control. They were both a bit greedy. Miracle turning into a Jakiro here, just
Oh, look at bottom though. Nature's Prophet.
Oh yeah, Nature's Prophet he's doing building damage right now. Gambit are gonna have to split up trying to defend both right now, but the range barracks is already dead. See if they can actually catch Mind Control here. They lead off the Wraithfire Blast, follow up Vendetta, Impale as well. That is gonna be the Nature's Prophet going down at bottom lane. So a good pick, even if it costs them the range barracks. Honestly, just getting on the board, I'm sure, no longer seeing the goose egg is gonna help Gambit a little bit psychologically.
Yeah. But losing the tier 3 tower backs this early on, Liquid can't be sad about that. They got a lot of damage onto this tier 3 tower up at top. Got a Rax at 18 minutes. But now the game slightly changes because of the Radiance on this Wraith King. And despite having like that heavy tower disadvantage, they're not that far behind.
Yeah, I mean, the Wraith King is actually over the Lone Druid in net worth right now, which is super impressive.
Yeah, like he can still sort of do it. He just needs a little bit of backup right now. He needs a second core to slowly come online. But that might get a little bit harder as Mind Control now has an Orchid, and there is a big item pickup on the Shaman with the Blink Dagger.
Afterlife is level 11, so he's not so far behind in levels. We won't talk about his net worth, but he's got levels going for him at least. Force staff for the OD. He's gonna have to definitely play an in and out game here. Needs to have a way to get through the Sprout as well.
He's got to be careful here because GH is waiting in the wings. They're just instead going to go for the bounty runes.
I like how they played that safe. They didn't try and get greedy and go for the bounty runes.
I mean, Afro might just get gone on right now. GH drops the sentry to make sure that Immersion isn't on top of him and just go for him. And that's exactly what he does.
All of Gambit left him as soon as they got the bounty runes.
That was so smart by him. Drop the sentry because the Nyx was down there for some time.
Yeah.
Sort of scouting things out. And Afro should know about that too. He saw the Treens just recently get spawned. They want to try to make a move on a Kuro. This is pretty big for them. They need to get rid of the Oracle as fast as they can.
Yeah, I mean, they have a hard enough time killing one person. And with an Oracle sitting behind with the plethora of heals and saves, pretty much have to go for him first. So they're going to lose the other shrine, all semblance of map control. And Liquid can just keep farming until, I'm guessing, the next Roshan. There's no need for you to... Because I guess I just don't feel like there's an item that's coming up in 3 or 4 minutes that is really significantly going to change Gambit's state, you know?
Yeah.
It's just going to have to come down to the team fight.
This Leshrac is definitely not getting any new items.
Yeah,
he
just
bought the hood, I think, thinking he was going to be so far behind in net worth.
Yeah.
Which he's not wrong about.
No, he's not. He's been behind the Shadow Shaman for so long, as we're going to see that play again in bottom lane. Drops the sentry, makes sure that it wasn't a trap, that there wasn't a Nyx assassin scouting him out the whole time. And they always have the extra help of that Wrath of Nature as well. Thing is all 3 of their cores have ways to be able to farm up Treants too. So if they actually had a more successful laning phase, if they just didn't bleed out all towers, all map control, everything, then maybe they could have actually done something here. Tried to go for the Impale on the TP, but it was baited out by Mind Control.
It's a little bit too far. But still, all map control in favor of Liquid. Miracle is very farmed at this point. I think for Gambit right now, when you lose this much map control, the problem is you have no wards on the map. So it's hard for you to just blind smoke out, because you're just risking the game at that point.
And with this wide window of when Roshan can spawn, it's going to be tough. Do you think they have to go for the Roshan defense, or can they play for the high ground?
I think they have to go for the Rosh defense, because I think the Oracle ulti in conjunction with the Aegis is just a little bit too much to overcome. That's what I meant about, you ideally want to get something going, but it's so scary to just go for the smoke. But going for Roshan, when it is up, it'll be up. So it's a very easy objective, I think, for the team that's behind to fight around.
Trying to get this pick off on the Furion. Mind Control does have an Orchid, so if he's fast enough, he can slow down this hit from Immersion. Doesn't actually get it off. They land the Impale. Now Apo's going to be here. Split Earth as well. A really good kill. The second one for Gambit in this game. As this time around, they don't trade anything.
They're all getting BKBs, though. They're all getting BKBs.
And they have all these Ether Lens too. Like, they don't have like the greatest jump in the world. There's sentries in place, and Nyx Assassin can't get there. They don't have a Blink Dagger, and Dahak isn't going for one either. He went for Heaven's Halberd. He's building into a plate mail now. So they don't have a good way to get to that back line in the first place. But a Roshan pit, it kind of inverts everything, where the back line is kind of exposed, and your damage dealers are there in that dead end. They're going to try and kill the bear here with the help of the skeletons. Trying to slow it down, but simultaneously can't get too far out of position. Impale, that's going to land, and that is going to be the bear kill.
Oh, Miracle.
See if they can blow up this Wraith King, take away the reincarnation. There's going to be the imprisonment safe, but they have to try and take away these Serpent Wards, force staff them away. Still managed to get him with those long-range nukes, and they do have Treants currently hitting the melee barracks. Gambit really can't worry about that too much right now. They just need to be able to find an engagement somehow. Miracle jumps in, managed to hit the impale as well as the spike carapace stuns. Immersion trying to go for a GH, but he managed to dodge out that impale. Afterlife coming back from his imprisonment. They're trying to finish off this bear real quickly, at least as best as possible. Do manage to throw down the ultimate there from Afo. Another good imprisonment save, but Miracle's just going to be able to set that up. Look at him. Imprisonment. It does manage to get the spike carapace stun on the imprisonment to kill the OD very easily. Immersion, he's going to stall things a little bit here, but that's going to be 4 dead from Gambit, and Team Liquid don't even need Roshan at this point. They can just go for the high ground, force some buybacks.
I mean, they went for it, but mind controls pressure on the map just a little bit too much, as well as the farm disadvantage. You saw them just continuously kite the Wraith King, and he just doesn't really have a second core that he can work with, that can go in with him. So Liquid know that as long as they just continue to kite this one guy, they know there's no other damage source.
Also, hopefully somebody has a clip of that. I think Matama Man may have passed over his Radiance from his bear onto his hero before it died. It's sometime during that fight.
Oh, that's sick.
He kept his Radiance for that team fight. Really smart play. And so, as they force a buyback out of Gambit, they can head back to that Roshan pin. Oh, and let's not forget about those bounty runes that spawned a minute ago. 19 bounty runes to 4. It's just one more metric to show you how one-sided this game has been to the favor of Team Liquid. At Gambit, they put together some incredible team fights in Game 1, but it's hard to overcome such a sharp net worth advantage. Immersion trying to wrap his way all the way around. Maybe he was looking for that courier. They spotted it because of the ward they have on the high ground next to the Roshan pit. But it's a cool ward, too, from the Dire side. But
I don't really know what plays you have. I mean, 17-2.
Yeah, every single time we talk about Gambit, there's always a but.
Yeah, it's just... And you saw OD drop the hammer, and it's really not that scary.
No, it wasn't at all. They killed the lone druid bear twice. That's what they accomplished in that team. So now, you said it had to be the Roshan defense. Gambit, they tried, weren't able to get it together, so now they're going to have to go for the high ground defense, which is probably going to be harder here as they have so many liberties they can take. Just drop Serpent Wards in the Bear, they have BKBs available, they have an Aegis. Miracle once again going to turn to the Nyx Assassin. It's such a great hero to turn into with that Spike Carapace especially, allowing you to be able to get free stuns. Look at that, the magic immunity just allowing Miracle to soak up some damage. Don't even need the false promise. Bear running forward, trying to finish off that mid laner barracks. Miracle just dives in pretty freely, takes out that Jakiro. Now they actually have the Orc get into the back line. That's going to be Immersion going down as well. Beyond Godlike for him, and Miracle is only halfway through this while Matamba Man's taking that mid laner barracks. That's going to be 2 lanes gone, and the top lane fully exposed here. At this rate, Team Liquid don't even necessarily have to win a team fight to close out this game. All they have to do is just hit the buildings.
They can just be as patient as they want, send in their cores. They don't have to commit anything for this.
No.
Send in the Bear at this point.
So Gambit, they are the ones who have to go kind of out there and put a stop to this one. They're going to start by trying to kill the Bear.
Shotgun again.
Yeah, there's going to be a shotgun onto the last rack, bring him a bit low. There's going to be the force snap, but the pursuit out for the waveform. Miracle managed to catch him. There's going to be the buyback of the Bears just going for it right now. The melee barracks dropping fast. They just keep on throwing more and more stuns at this Bear, and he keeps on getting saved by the Oracle. In fact, he's going to false promise it just to make sure the second Bear does stay alive. A bunch of buybacks forced, and Liquid did use some abilities, and since they're on cooldown, they'll back up. They're going to play it very safe. They respect Gambit as a team a lot and are not trying to throw this game. But they're actually going to get caught here as Miracle. Well, he doesn't get caught. He actually kills Immersion. Now they're going to turn, go for the last strike kill, who did buy back in his last engagement. Pops his BKB. FNG, he's dead. Now look for Afo or Afterlife. Well, maybe he can go for Dahak as well, as he does have a reincarnation, but they can take away that first life. He's keeping himself alive just purely off the lifesteal right now. Now the imprisonment. 2-man split earth. That's going to be well set up. The hammer gets dropped. Almost finishing forcing out the OD, but it's not quite enough. Now the BKB from Mind Controls, he just stands his ground, finish up that first life of the Wraith King. He comes back now. Miracle actually just committing his life onto the Radiant so he can go full health. Now the Circle Force blocking him off. Now managed to get the Shackles as well, not allowing Gambit to get back inside their base, but it's already been Megas by Matama Man. He's already slipped through, cut off the throat of Gambit and Team Liquid. Boy, were they pissed off about game one or what, Blitz? This was just, they took zero risks and they just dominated Gambit from the start.
It was all that mid rotation. When 4 people came mid and Gambit had no response, you knew what the game was going to look like.
Yeah.
They couldn't defend any of their towers. Part of the problem with giving up that mid tower so early on in the game is it represents that you have no interest in defending the other towers because your lineup just can't do it. I think Gambit realized at about 10 minutes, like, oh, we actually have no answer. We're just going to have to wait. Like, the only option that they had at that point, and this is every pro team's least favorite thing ever, is let's hope the enemy team just messes up.